My two friends sitting next to me are Cesar and Dago. We met each other when we all won a scholarship by the US Embassy and got into an engineering program here in Nicaragua called STEAM. Part of the program was to come up with an exciting and impactful STEM-based project before the end of the course. We teamed up and took inspiration from a project MIT made a couple years ago called the E-Vent, the automation of an ambu bag in order for mechanical ventilation. Since COVID was at its strongest at the time, we decided to make our own version of it. It went through many iterations and it was a long and honestly pretty fun process, but finally we managed to complete our scientific poster and present it to the rest of the group. Coincidentally, the Technological University of La Salle in León was making their own version of the event, but this time based on a version created by Rice University. They were impressed by our project and invited us for a week to their facility in order to help them build their version. Since this is the first time I'm in an experience like that, I decided to document it and make a sort of vlog. I hope you guys enjoy.
Suertudo, Alberto, loco.
We stayed in an Airbnb some friends let us borrow, right at the center of the city. It was such an incredible spot, except for the fact that it didn't have internet. Thankfully, right on the other side of this wall was Pollo Estrella, so we just, shared Wi-Fi with them for a week. Thank you, Pollo Estrella, for the help. Go buy some of their chicken. After we settled down, we decided to go out for the night and explore the city for a bit. A big festival called La Purísima had just happened, so the streets and markets were filled with decorations. We eventually got back home and I finished the night doing some homework before going to sleep.
¿Cuál es el propósito?
Pero te tengo con un gimnasio.
Ah, ¿no es?
Dale. Buenos días.
We managed to make it to the university on time and they gave us a small tour of their facility and led us to a garage in the back where we would be working for the day. I was a bit nervous, but the professors who were guiding us were really welcoming. The first thing we had to do is take apart these computers and recycle their power supply units. We had to check them to see if they worked and then give them maintenance. We would later on reuse these power supplies for the ventilators, so we had to make sure to be careful. It was super fun to learn how they worked and all their different components. We did this for a couple hours until we got moved to the robotics lab where we helped clean some 3D printed parts. To my surprise, the 3D printed parts for the machine were actually quite dense and durable. After a long day of work, I think it was fair enough to say we were all tired. So at 3 we decided to leave the university and took La Ruta back home. Our apartment wasn't too far away from the facility, so we just had to take a small walk every day. We were exhausted, so we took a power nap and later decided to go for a midnight celebratory McFlurry before ending the day. The next day started like any other, except that I had an obligatory Zoom call I needed to attend, so I ultimately gave my class a tour of the city as I made my way to the university. Thanks, Mr. Link, for being so chill about it. Once we made it to the university, we were taken to the far end of campus where they had their biomass lab. They showed us around the place and we managed to see a lot of cool stuff. They explained to us that the students here use this part of campus to make their own form of biodiesel and then turn that into energy with one of the many machines they had in there. After a break, we were moved to the computer lab where one of the project's engineers taught us the programming behind the ventilator. We used the simulation software they had called Tinkercad and we worked on that to the end of the day. It wasn't as productive a day as I would have hoped, but I was still happy we got to learn more about the school and its resources. Since it was a Friday, the professors told us we could take the weekend off and resume our work on Monday. So we decided to do some tourism during the weekend. This is how it went.
Down, yeah. I've been feeling so down, yeah. Can you tell me why? Can you tell me why I'm down, yeah. No friends of mine, no friends of mine around, yeah. Now I'm thinking I might have caught the June blues. Yeah, I wanna drown myself inside the juice. Yeah, you know I keep on running from the truth. Was that not? I'm just when the sun come out, might just waste away. Don't know what life about. Another day go by, don't know what got me down. June blues, yeah, I got the June blues, yeah. Walk around like who you, yeah. It's something you get used to, yeah. Go back to June blues, yeah. It's just the June blues, yeah. Walk around like who you, yeah. Just something you get used to. Breaking news got me breaking. I was present, hopeless, praying. Struck down at 20, plenty left to put behind you. You ain't peaked, devil's speaking, now they speaking about you, leave it alone. Hope you grinning while you watch your bros on some soulful sunny shit to brighten up a wounded soul. Honest, you the plenty, pick it up like Chevy, New Age Machiavelli, disagree, don't tell me, now you in infinity, we 98, trust that he be good. On the ball like BB, don't make no mistakes, got the faith, the 18 just not gonna be the same.
On Monday, we resumed our work in the university. This was the last week of the semester, so I had to take a couple online tests from their library. I had to take a chemistry test and, well, I think I'll stick to physics. I catched up with the guys in one of the conference rooms they were using to test their 3D scanner for reverse engineering. I sadly wasn't able to see too much of it due to my exams, but the other guys managed to work with it for a while. We then moved back to the robotics lab where we were able to see their first prototype for the ventilator as well as their most updated version. I've just realized that I haven't actually explained what the ventilator does. It basically uses two small servo motors in each side of the ambu bag in order to force air into the lungs of the patient. Sometimes the patients are too weak to breathe for themselves, so the ventilator helps by taking care of it for them. It is able to regulate the amount of airflow into the lungs and a lot of other cool features I don't really have time to explain. It is obviously much more complicated than this, but that was the best explanation I could give right now. If you want a video dedicated to an explanation, make sure to tell me in the comments. We saw their 3D printer in action, which was really cool considering this was the most advanced 3D printer I've ever seen in Nicaragua, and we finished the day working once again with the 3D printer pieces and making sure they were all the right shape and quality. We were all really tired. But we continued working, sanding, gluing, observing, cutting, learning, and pasting during the rest of the week. By Wednesday, our last day there, we had finished sorting out and grouping all the materials the engineers needed to finalize the project and put everything together. We said goodbye and thank you to all the professors we had met and made our way back home in order to leave for Managua. Even though I wish we could have done more, it was still an incredible opportunity and I'm so thankful with everybody that made this possible. Being able to have that hands-on experience next to professionals of the field you're most passionate about was such an amazing feeling that I'll never forget. I learned about a city I knew nothing of, was able to do robotics for a week, and made two really good friends along the way. In summary, this trip was a total success, but there's one more thing left to do.